Greetings, Aberdeen and Safe Harbor folks. Wanted to talk to you today about one of the themes of Advent. Each Sunday there is a new theme: love, joy, hope. On the fourth Sunday of Advent, peace is the theme. And I want to talk about peace because it just seems so elusive. Something that I struggle with in my life. It seems like it's been a prayer for as long as I can remember to be a man of peace, but a man at peace as well. And that prayer hasn't been fully granted just yet. Now, perhaps you aren't like this, but at times, and more often than I'd like to admit, there just seems to be a roiling inside my soul, a dissatisfaction with the chaos around me. Different times in my life, it was different things years ago. Small children just creating chaos. That can be frustrating. Parishioners who are just upset over certain things in a church community, the corruption and incompetence in political leadership, even in church leadership. It's just so frustrating, and the idea of being able to live with it seems at times impossible. My mind goes to a song by Rich Mullins called "Hold Me, Jesus," and one of the lines in the song, it says, "It's so hot inside my soul, there must be blisters on my heart." I confess there are times I just want to walk away. I want to find some quiet corner of the world and look for peace there. I suppose we look to retirement to be that hope. But rest is elusive. Peace escapes us. Well, the prophet Isaiah talks about peace, the lack of it, but also how God is going to come and bring peace. Listen to Isaiah chapter 52, beginning in verse 7. "How beautiful upon the mountains are the feet of him who brings good news, who publishes peace, who brings good news of happiness, who publishes salvation, who says to Zion, 'Your God reigns.' The voice of your watchmen, they lift up their voice. Together they sing for joy. For eye to eye they see the return of the Lord to Zion. Break forth together into singing, you waste places of Jerusalem. For the Lord has comforted his people. He has redeemed Jerusalem. The Lord has bared his holy arm before the eyes of all the nations, and all the ends of the earth shall see the salvation of our God." A powerful, powerful passage. I love it. God reigns, and his reign brings, among other things, it brings peace. And one of the ways it brings peace is through God's comfort, through his caring. It brings comfort and healing to the waste places in our lives. God displays his strength. It says he bears his holy arm. But being strong doesn't mean you're not caring or comforting, or you can't be. Caring does not exclude comforting. In fact, without strength, caring can become impossible. Hurting places need a care that is backed by strength. But I would also say that strength without compassion, without caring, would never go to those hurting places, never bring restoration and healing to people who need it, which is why they have to come together. I want to ask you a question. What kinds of places do you see waste, the destruction of our world unleashed on a place in the city or in a family, in someone's life? And are you afraid to go there? What places are you afraid to go? Again, not talking about heights or confined spaces. I'm talking about maybe a place of crime and violence, a place that reminds you of your limitations, a place of mental and emotional trauma. I work with people who go to some scary places. Police officers and firemen, yes, but I'm talking about addiction counselors. Addiction is one of the waste places of life. And you see hurt and trauma lead to some kind of self-medication in alcohol or drugs, and then those substances just take over the life of that person, empties them out of financial resources, destroys their relationships, maybe even robs them of a reason to live. I can think of one young man in particular. He's a promising student. He was an athlete. but the pressures of adolescence, of the expectations to perform, were heavy on him. And when he was prescribed oxycodone for a sports injury, he liked the way it seemed to free him temporarily of his anxieties. And so he began to take it when he was no longer prescribed that medication. And that became a dependence on the drug. And a dependence turned into an addiction. An addiction led to his life becoming a waste place. I have a number of friends who work for a number of different organizations. I won't state their full names or their organizations here, but people like Amy and Mike and Steve, and they walk into these waste places to bring restoration, to bring healing, to bring peace to these people. And that takes strength. But even more than strength, it takes compassion, it takes love, it takes caring, a desire to bring comfort to people. You know, when the Lord looks at this world and he sees the many waste places we have created, how ambition has spawned war in Ukraine and in Central Africa, how corporate corruption has ruined the livelihoods of working people in the West, how just the selfishness of everyday folks destroy their marriages and their families. He sees the waste places all around. And he has the strength just to wipe it all clean and to start over if he wants. But that's not what he does. In care, he walks into the waste places and he brings redemption. And he turns mourning into rejoicing. And as he brings care, as he brings healing, we can begin to know rest and peace. That plan of redemption is put into play in the coming of the Christ child in that first Christmas. And we see that statement, Merry Christmas, joy to the world, whatever it is, what we're celebrating is God coming to make peace. God reigns in strength. He reigns in caring. He gives us his presence. And what I'm praying for this Christmas is that as you know God's presence, as you know his strength, as you know his caring, you can know his peace. Blessings on you all. Merry Christmas.